And you'll notice what's happening in their lives. Major life changes, a divorce, a death, a move, maybe a child leaving, moving out. Anytime there's a relationship issue, a big breakup, a high pressure breakup, especially with divorce and custody issues, I've noticed that one to be something major. An unplanned financial catastrophe could be a vehicle accident, an insurance was slow in paying, difficulty getting a new used car, any illness or injury. Maybe it's a parent, a grandparent who is ill or dying. You want to have those conversations to let the person know you're not alone. So, Paul, we talk about
Cal,
that.
yeah,
Recognize,
Cal,
speak up.
one of the biggest things for this is for me is listen to your gut. When you look back and over all these years, a lot of times my gut's telling me something's going on with this person. And listen, you'll go up and sometimes it's scary or embarrassing or whatever you want to call it to bring up this conversation and ask them. And listen, my experience has also been 9 out of 10 times from when you first ask them, they'll deny it. No, everything's fine, right? Everything's fine. And man, okay, what do you do now? And I just think being persistent and making sure that let them know you do care about them, and continuing to be there and ask them of like, hey, how can I help? And a lot of times being able to share a story of like, hey, this is something I was going through that, I suspect that you may be going. I just want you to know I understand and I've been there. But to me, it's really listen to your gut, because again, I'll use that number. There's no scientific data, but from my experience, it's been 9 out of 10 times my gut has been right when I suspect that something's going on with somebody, and bringing that up and not just taking that first time they asked me or when they responded to me when I asked them of no, everything's okay.
Yeah, Paul, as simple as I care too much to not say something.
Yeah.
And that person's going to recognize you just put yourself out there, but you've done it in genuine care for them. So I think it's been a powerful opportunity to think about it. And Paul, these are things you and I talk about as well. When there are performance issues, even among high performers, look for the reason behind the reason. Ask the question why. Look for opportunities to help that person navigate whatever that issue they're going through. Approach it with increased sensitivity. Give them benefit of the doubt. Look for an opportunity to talk to them in private, not reprimand them in front of others, but just, hey, I've noticed lately, is everything okay? You seem distracted. I'm here for you. We've got help available. What do you need? Paul, anything you want to add?
No, I think you nailed that, Cal.
This is one of those really important areas.
Yes.
We also wanted you to know there's opportunities to have these safety conversations. This is one of those. It came from Australia and it was very effective. It's called Are You Okay? And you'll look at opportunities to initiate a conversation. My experience teaching construction workers how to have these conversations, we have more awareness of risk factors. We have more empathy than people give us credit for. We're actually good at reading situations. We just sometimes lack the courage to have one of these calls. So I call them safety conversations. This Are You Okay is a very good method. Wanted to give you a second method as well, and we'll do that. It's from a program called Living Works. So Living Works is one of the methods of suicide prevention. They use a model called TASC, T-A-S-C. Each one of those letters stands for a step. Tune in, observe or sense, like Paul said, your gut says this person may need help. Put the attention on them. You've identified warning signs. Now you're going to ask, are you okay? And are you thinking about suicide? We have to be that clear. And then let them know suicide is serious. I can offer you help. That's a step in the state. And then the connection, be with that person if they say they are considering suicide, and make sure we can connect them to 988. There's other
Cal,
methods doing
a
this.
lot.
It's called CPR. So Paul, go ahead.
Yeah, sorry about that. I think a lot of times people will avoid this topic with somebody because they feel intimidated by it, or they think, I'm not the right person to ask. I don't have these experiences with it. But it really is just about being having some empathy for your fellow man, and showing them that they care. And then, that last one, the connect, finding the resources, reaching out, doing some homework, and to different organizations that we all have, and connecting them. But I think a lot of times people are like, I wouldn't even know what to say. But that previous slide was pretty phenomenal, where it does walk you through of like, here's what, yeah, the ask, are you okay? Right? It does show you what you can do. Here's the scenario, and here's the next scenario. That's a great tool that we should all have.
Paul, what I love about it, notice under the "Are you okay" on the upper left-hand corner, no qualifications needed. This is being human. It doesn't
That's
have
right.
to be perfect. We just have to be confident to have that conversation.
Yep.
So if a person says, no, I'm not okay, here's the questions to ask to dig a little bit deeper. If a person says, yes, I'm fine, but Paul, your gut says, I don't think so, here's some questions you may want to ask. And if we do this by showing up, being present, using understanding, listening, empathy, that is often the key that will unlock their
Yep.
resistance to talking.
Yep.
So
You do not have to have a degree in psychology and all these different things to help.
being human is enough. We're
Yep.
we're perfect enough as we are. Just have the courage to ask that question. So we wanted you to have two different tools that you could use. And then Paul, here, we're going to just shift a little bit of data back toward the substance use, because we know how important this topic is. You take this.
Yeah, absolutely. Um, it's rampant, right? And it does lead into, you know, substance abuse. In my opinion, always will lead into the mental health issues. I think that was, a big factor of my story. And we have the, really high numbers in our industry, again, because it goes back to the theory of a lot of times, your second and third chances. Where can you go? You could go into roofing and construction. Um, that number, the 23.1% of overdose deaths where industry reported were in construction. That's a big number. You know, it's a, again, it's a persona, I think, where it's been an acceptable practice in our industry to, that was part of my deal when I was 18 years old. I got up on a roof with my cousin, and we drank beer and we smoked weed all day. And I thought, holy hell, this is where I belong. This wasn't I wasn't going to be able to be a person that could go to an office building, because they probably don't let you drink beer all day long in an office building. Right. And so if people like me that get into this industry, and, it starts to become pretty rampant through it, because again, it's a hard job, and your back, your knees, all these different things as we're on the roofs, then just the mental part of it as well. Sometimes as being the business owner of like keeping the doors open, it's a tough thing. And, the drugs that are coming out nowadays are even scarier than, back 19 years ago, as when I was using and abusing every day. And, just again, these things will change if we're bold about it, and we talk about it, and we recognize it is a problem that we have in our industry. It is a problem that I have in my own company. I was sharing this with Cal the other day. We have close to 500 employees in our organization. That's a pretty massive number of people that are in our own organization that are suffering with this. If we're thinking that's not my problem, we don't have it in our group. Even if I have 10 or 12 people that work in my organization, it's affecting all of us. I could promise you, I can almost guarantee you that it's affecting your life. You may not understand it yet, you may not realize it yet, you may not be trusting your gut yet, but it is in your life. There's someone in your family, and your friend network, with your employees that is going through this.
Yeah, and it's powerful, Paul. Like in construction, the overdose rate was 131 per 100,000 workers. In roofing, that was one of the highest at 177. And again, a lot of it is the combination of the musculoskeletal injuries, sprains, strains, ruptures, tears, repetitive motion. So we just want you to know this is a safety topic, and it's something that we're going to continue to talk more about. The data actually last year, we did see some improvement. So it's down about 28%. And overall, construction had the same decline as the nation. That doesn't mean the problem is over. This is the opportunity to double down. So we're actually promoting naloxone on job sites in case of an overdose, because we never know who may need that on a job site. So that's one of the things that we wanted to share today. Number two, we wanted you to know opioids are the majority of fatal overdoses and non-fatal overdoses. So that's why we spend time talking about opioids. This is an opportunity to think about prescription, but also street medications like fentanyl. Educate your families about that risk as well. And then we wanted you to know alternatives exist to opioids for medical, dental, and surgical procedures. So educate yourself how to ask doctors, dentists, and surgeons for yourself or your family if an alternative is available. And if they say no, ask for naloxone to be co-dispensed in case of an overdose. What we wanted you to know is the first day of usage, you have a 6% chance of still using an opioid a year later. If you go 7 days, that's up to 13.5% chance of persistent opioid use. If you get to 31 days of continuous use, you have a 30% chance of using a year later. So we just wanted everyone to think about the risk of opioids. We talked to Alec about doing more on opioid risk reduction. So there are ways that you can train. I mentioned that QPR Institute. I talked about Living Works. Some organizations are doing mental health first aid. And in the construction industry, there's a tool called Vital Cog in construction. There are other forms of training. You don't have to be expert, as we saw on that Are You Okay? But we wanted you to know. One thing that you can do is take the Stand Up Pledge for Suicide Prevention at the preventconstructionsuicide.com website. That's where you will find resources. So we wanted to reiterate, 988 is the nation's 3-digit hotline. You can text, call, chat to 988. You also have crisis text line. There you text hello to 741-741. But at the CIASP website, you can get additional information. We're going to highlight just a couple of those. You'll notice this is a screenshot. On the Get Informed step, there are many ways to take action. So there are toolbox talks, there's free screening, there's videos. You can get hard hat stickers, the wallet cards, the poker chips that I've referenced several times. They have examples of posters that you can order from their website. So we wanted you to be aware that that's a place. And here is a QR code where you can scan to obtain those resources. So Paul, I'm going to get to you in just a moment with some closing comments, but I also wanted to highlight additional resources are available from various partners of the CIASP. We've listed some of those. Roofers in Recovery that Paul's part of, Safe Project that I'm part of, are 2 of those listed partners. And I wanted to let folks know a resource that we have at Safe Project is available through this QR code, and it will talk about critical incidents that include suicide and overdose. So that QR code will get you a link to 3 articles with steps to help you prepare how to help people in a time of need or crisis. And then Paul, what we wanted to do is give people an opportunity to take the Stand Up Pledge today. This QR code will get you launched right to the Stand Up Pledge for you to enlist your company as a helper in this army of helpers that we're building. The last thing we wanted to share will be contact info for the Construction Industry Alliance, preventconstructionsuicide.com. Or if you use that email, info@preventconstructionsuicide.com, that will take you to Sonia Bowman. And then Paul, please share your contact info here as well. It should be on the screen right now.
Yeah, please scan that. That's a direct link to me. You'll see my phone number on there, 719-588-4361. And we're just here to help. My phone's on 24/7. And we want to, our motto is really to change lives and help put families back together. So let us be a resource for you when you need it.
Did I hear you correctly last week? Since you opened your treatment facility, you've helped 1,800 individuals
1,800 people,
moving?
yeah, in the last 2 years have came through our facility. And that's another thing I forgot to mention is we do have a facility in the San Luis Valley in southern Colorado called Hope in the Valley, and it's a place that you could go and heal. So please reach out if you know anybody in the roofing and construction industry going through, mental health or substance abuse disorders.
Well, you've made a tremendous impact in your space. You're helping cross over into the rest of construction. Today, it was an honor to be with you, Paul, as always. I wanted to share my contact info at Safe Project. Please don't hesitate to reach out to Alec Ward, to Paul, to myself, Sonia Bowman. If any one of us can help your organization take the next step, we're here to be a partner to you. Paul, any last closing comments before we pass it off to Alec?
No, sir. I think we covered it all. I just really appreciate you, Cal, what you do in this space, and thank you for being here today with me.
I promised I wouldn't call you a hero today, but you are one of those people whose hope story inspires me, and I'm just grateful to be a new friend of yours over the past 15 months. Thank you, Paul.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Alec, back to you, sir.
Great. Thanks, Cal, and thanks, Paul, for this great resources you're providing here. I wanted to give the folks that are attending here, if they have any questions right now they want to submit, they're welcome to. And also what I'll be doing is everyone that's attended, I'll send the slides that Cal sent over for this whole presentation earlier this morning. He sent them to me. I'll get those out to you so you have those as a fallback information for everything you've seen here today. But let's give it a couple more seconds here just in case there's any other questions. So far, looking pretty good. You might see a little dialogue bubble there with a question mark over it. That's where you would type things in. But it looks like we're good. So again, you can also feel free to call the office as well. Email info@WSRCA.com for any of this information. And thank you for attending. All right, guys. Yeah, we'll be in touch and really appreciate all of this. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right.
Take care, Paul. Bye, Alec. Thanks, everyone.